Hello Imaginers, it's Kyla coaching you to the career and life that you imagined. Out on our land today, but as you can see, we've got a bit of a storm brewing. So I'm not as close to the lake as I normally am because the storm is definitely causing some high winds, which got me thinking about storms, both in our life, in physical ways like this storm, and then also the storms that we create in our brain. This is something that comes up for me on a regular basis. My parents would tell you that I was a child that was afraid of everything. I was afraid of dogs. I was afraid of the bathtub, the drain specifically. I was afraid of a lot of different things. And so I really had to lean on creating belief systems that help me with fear. And sometimes, again, that fear can be physical, maybe being out on a lake or a body of water where there's a storm. But it can certainly also be fear within my brain. And I was reviewing a Facebook memory recently, and it was a trip that we took to Italy. And specifically, we had decided to take a boat out to the Isle of Capri. I've always wanted to see the Blue Grotto, and this was an amazing opportunity to do that. But the sea was a bit choppy that day, and we knew that we were going to face not a smooth ride. And in fact, several people, including this person, got seasick. I ended up having to go sit by the captain so that I could have the horizon straight on, and then after a while it was fine, but it was not a pleasant experience. But I knew what the outcome was going to be, and the outcome was that I was going to get to see the Blue Grotto, and we did. And it was worth overcoming that fear, overcoming that discomfort. There was a lot of physical discomfort on that trip. And I started thinking about what was I thinking? Because you know me, I believe that a thought always precedes what we feel, and then eventually the action that we take, and then ultimately our outcome. And the thought that I was thinking was, I'm in no matter what. Even if there's sharp seas that aren't ideal, even if I get kind of physically sick, I'm in. I am going to see the Blue Grotto. It is done. And I wonder how often we can apply some of those same thoughts to things that we're leaning on fear to go after. And fear unfortunately wins. And we could actually lean on a belief system instead. So I had a belief system that, for the most part, boats are safe, that there might be choppy water and there might be some discomfort, but there was going to be an end to that. And I use that belief system and those thoughts to push through and get to the other side. And it was one of the most magical things I've ever done in my life. You have to take a small, tiny boat to actually even get inside the grotto. The boat, the people that ferry you in the boats, many of them are opera singers, and so you get inside the grotto and they sing this beautiful opera. And it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that I was not going to miss out on. And I think about how many once-in-a-life opportunities we have to take a small step forward that we may not take, because again, our fear tells us that it's not worth the discomfort. And as I talk about often, that fear is very rooted in biological urges, biological history. It is rooted in motivational triad to ultimately survive, and the way that our ancestors survived was by avoiding pain, seeking pleasure, and being efficient. And of course, the pain to overcome, and certainly the lack of efficiency to overcome in reaching the Blue Grotto, eventually equaled the pleasure. But I really had to overcome those two parts of the three-legged stool to get there. So on the road to your life imagined, I want you to think about what is something that you would love to do, but fear is holding you back. And where are there belief systems that you could lean on to help you overcome that fear, to help you overcome those storms? Oftentimes those storms are things that we can see, and the outcome we want is also very visible, very tangible. But sometimes the fear that we have to overcome results in things that we can see and even amazing things that we can't. Next week, I'm going to talk to you about what I am calling courageous byproducts. Something happened to me recently that helped me see that my courage resulted in something that I knew was going to happen, but then something else that I couldn't have dreamed of. And that our courage has a multiplying effect, an exponential effect. So stay tuned next week for that. If you'd like to see some pictures of the Blue Grotto on our trip, sign up for my weekly email at kylamartinconsulting.com under the Inspiration tab. And you know that I'm cheering you on through the storms to reach the life and career